So guys, welcome back to LS Plays FM and to what will be my very first FM21 video here on the channel. Of course, with the game going to be released within the next few weeks, probably around about the 10th of November for when the beta goes live, I thought it would make sense for us to begin off FM21 with taking a look at some interesting sides across Europe that you could use for your very first save in the beta. So the majority of these sides, because of it being the FM21 beta, are going to be upper level teams because I know the majority of players, myself included, like to start the game off with a decent level side so you can kind of learn the game and figure out what works and what doesn't. There is one exception to that which we will get to when we start running through the sides. But before we get into the video guys, if you do enjoy this today, please do make sure to leave a like on it because it really does help the channel out. And also let me know down in the comments below, do you agree with my picks for these interesting save ideas? And let me know who your first save will be as well. But also finally, before we get going, if you are looking forward to seeing any more of my content, whether that being the current FM20 stuff I'm doing, such as the stones rolling on up on any of my experiments, or any of my upcoming FM21 content, then do make sure to subscribe to the channel and keep up to date with everything here on LS Plays FM. But guys, let's get into this and find out what sides I've picked as an interesting first save idea for FM21. So the first team we'll be starting off with is Everton. So if you've been keeping up to date with the Premier League since its beginning in September, you will know that Everton have made one hell of a good start to their season so far, and they are currently sitting on top of the Premier League. Rather to everyone's surprise really, but considering the team they have put together, it's not actually that surprising. The fact they've got that midfield three of James Rodriguez, Allen and Decore all signed in this transfer window, that is very much a football manager's dream. The amount of versatility in there and the technical ability is just wonderful to even think of having that as an option. It really is. And under Ancelotti, getting the best out of the likes of Calvert-Lewin up top, who no doubt will be getting a major boost come FM21. It could be a really tempting save. And also having that strong English core as well now with the signing of Ben Godfrey at the back and having the likes of Godfrey, Keane, Yerry Mina, etc. in defence, it is certainly looking like a very strong side. Of course, with the right additions to your team as well, you could easily be looking at no doubt top 7, getting into the Europa League in that first season, maybe pushing higher, looking at a top 4 or possibly even a title push. The fact that obviously only Leicester did it a few years ago, it's not outside of the realms of possibility, and the fact that in real life Everton are doing it themselves, it could well be something that you could do within your very first season once the beta is released. Of course, you need a little bit of luck to hope that the big teams such as Liverpool and City do drop points like they're doing in real life, but it could well happen for you in game. Everton certainly would be a good pick for you if you're not looking for a team struggling at the bottom end of the table, and maybe a side that you're more looking forward to kind of pushing up towards the top end of the division. Next on our list is another English side. This time though, it is Leeds United. A bit more of a difficult challenge I would expect for any player in Football Manager. The newly promoted side in Leeds in their very first year back in the Prem in almost 16 years. It is going to be a very interesting challenge trying to keep them in the Premier League. Of course, of the promoted sides, they are most likely the best contenders to staying up, that is for sure. Very much a stronger squad, and of course when you look at them in real life, they look like a very good option considering the way that Marcelo Bielsa has them playing. But a very decent transfer window from Leeds where they've spent quite a bit of money, it has to be said. And it does look like they put themselves in a position to possibly do a Wolves from a few years ago and push themselves up towards the top end of the table. There's a likelihood as well that in game you will have some decent amount of money to possibly spend as well, so you could make your own additions to the squad already built for you. With Leeds having the likes of Rodrigo signed from Valencia in arguably one of the biggest signings they made, the newly signed Rafinha signed only a few days ago as well. It looks to be a very good option considering how well he performed over in France, and also with the likes of Diego Llorente being signed at the back at the team, it's very much a strong squad. But as well, with the core remaining from their championship winning squad, you do have a decent set of players available for you to use. Of course, defensively may be where you look to strengthen the most, but with the right players being brought in, you could easily be keeping that team up in the Prem and within a few seasons possibly be pushing for top 7 if not higher. They certainly have the infrastructure and the fan base there at Leeds. Can you in FM21 be the manager to come in and get them to get back to their old glory days? Only time will tell, but Leeds certainly look like an interesting choice to use in the English Premier League. Now the third side on our list, and the first one to be outside of England, is Sevilla, the proverbial Europa League winning team. They've now won their 6th trophy, having won their most recent one last season. And the fact that they have won the Europa League, of course, means that this will be the first team in this list to be starting with Champions League football. A proposition which means you may well be able to bring in some top level players quite possibly in Season 1. The team itself, though, is already in a very strong position, having managed to secure the permanent signing of Suso from AC Milan, and the returning Rakitic coming in from Barcelona puts the team at a very decent level, that's for sure. Additionally, with the youngster Osama Idrissi being signed from PSV, you have some good young talent in the squad as well. So possibly with the right additions and a decent amount of time spent improving your youngsters and bedding in your new talent, you could very well be looking at pushing the traditional top 3 in La Liga, the likes of Atleti, Real Madrid and Barcelona. Of course, as well, with the possibility that the likes of Messi and so on will one day be leaving Barcelona after all the current talk in this transfer window, you could well be looking at pushing those teams quite early on. Plus the fact that with the right additions as well, you could maybe even one day be looking to win the Champions League with Sevilla. They certainly are an interesting choice for your very first save in FM21 once the beta is released. Now our fourth side, and what in my opinion has to be the biggest team on this list based on their reputation and their history and so on, is AC Milan. Now, of course, the team which in the mid and early 2000s was such a dominant side under the likes of Carlo Ancelotti, with players such as Seedorf and Andrea Pirlo and Maldini dominating that team. That really was the team to beat once upon a time. The AC Milan side of nowadays, though, has certainly dropped off of those heights. But this year, AC Milan appeared to have finally rectified some of their mistakes in the transfer window and begun to actually build a team which looks like it could be improving at long last. With the fact that it looks like AC Milan may have finally replaced Andrea Pirlo after so long, with the signing of FM favourite Sandro Tonali, signed from Brescia on loan initially, and with the option to buy as well, you certainly have a very good option in your midfield now, that's for sure. And not to mention, though, the likes of Ante Rebic having been signed, as well as Zlatan Ibrahimovic signed last season, now going to be in his first full season back at Milan. You definitely have some good options going forward. Plus the fact that AC Milan managed to sign some decent youngsters as well on loan, such as Brahim Diaz and Diogo Dalot as well from Manchester United. They've got some good options there in their youth as well. As a result, AC Milan are definitely in the best position they've been in for a few years to be competing for definitely a Champions League spot in Serie A, if not higher. Of course, though, with it being Serie A, it's always going to be difficult to overcome the dominance that is Juve and Inter Milan. But with the right players brought in and bedding in all those new signings that the club has made, AC Milan are certainly an interesting choice for you to begin FM21 with, and to possibly look to go for glory in Italy early on once the beta is released. Now our fifth choice and the final team that is a top division side is Bayer Leverkusen in Germany. The side that made one hell of a sale this transfer window when they sold Kai Havertz to Chelsea for a huge £72 million. They are going to be a team which is going to be able to spend a lot of money come FM21. They haven't really replaced Havertz or any of the other players that have left the squad really in this transfer window, so it is going to be quite a bit of a rebuild job that you'll have on your hands at Leverkusen. But hopefully, if providing the game gives you enough money, you should be able to have a good and fun time in that opening transfer window to build a squad of your liking. They've already made some decent signings though, have Leverkusen. One of the big ones in Patrick Schick, the former Roma flop, but who was on loan last season at RB Leipzig and had a decent time of things over there in Germany. Leverkusen have picked him up on a permanent deal, and additionally with the signing of Santiago Arias from Atletico Madrid, it is another good option for you at the back there. As I've already said though, Havertz himself has not been replaced, so that will definitely be the big challenge for Leverkusen in replacing him. They have also lost the likes of Kevin Volland, the traditional FM just nemesis to a lot of players. I know from my own experience, I used to play in the Bundesliga, Volland would always score against me. So the fact that Leverkusen have now sold him, you've also got to try and replace him as well. Leverkusen, no, they just about missed out a Champions League position last season, losing out to Mönchengladbach by 2 points sadly for them. So you will start this game in the Europa League. So you have got European football though to try and attract players to your side. But being in that competition is one that Leverkusen could possibly win. They are certainly still a decent side despite the players they've lost. And being in Germany, you've always got the possibility of developing good talent because German teams, and Leverkusen being no exception to that rule, always have a chance of bringing through good youth talents. So definitely within the first few seasons, you could well be looking at springboarding yourself towards the top end of the table and maybe pushing for Bundesliga glory come FM21. The final option note for you in this list, and now returning back to England, is the only non-top division side in our list, and that is Wigan Athletic. Arguably one of the stories of last season when they got completely screwed over by their own board. The team were relegated from the Championship into League One after they were docked 12 points for entering administration. The team were only purchased by their new owners within the last 12 months, and they never put a penny into the club, and as a result the club of course then found itself in financial troubles and they were docked the points by the EFL. As a result they were relegated by 2 points from the Championship into League One, and you find yourself as Wigan with a very tough challenge on your hands. Due to entering administration, the team were entirely gutted. Star players such as Anthony Robinson, who moved to Fulham for only £2 million, after originally last season AC Milan offered £10 million for him, is just crazy. And other star players in Kiefer Moore, who's gone to Cardiff, and Josh Windass, who's now gone to Sheffield Wednesday, it's definitely going to be difficult to get the players you need in to help push you back up from League One into the Championship. But with the right additions, you could well be on track to do that. I would highly doubt that FM21 would be pushing Wigan as a favourite for the League One title, but with the right players coming in, you could well be aiming for the playoffs, and definitely within 2 seasons be looking to get yourself back up into the Championship. Compared to the other teams on this list, it will be a slightly longer term save, but it could well be a challenge that's worth doing considering the sorry state that Wigan find themselves in nowadays. Of course, less than 10 years ago they won the FA Cup and they find themselves once again in League One, but this time in a much more dire position because of their finances and being in administration. But it should definitely be an interesting challenge for you once FM21 comes around. Now those are the 6 sides that I've chosen as the interesting sides I would think would be a good first save idea for the FM21 beta. There were of course tons of teams to choose from. A couple of the honourable mentions have to go to the likes of Chelsea after their ridiculously good transfer window with the likes of Werner and so on joining the team. You have Barcelona after the whole Messi debacle in the window, where it looks like he will be leaving come the end of next season. So can you build a team that can not rely on Messi after the first season? You also have Inter Milan, who made some very good signings, the likes of Hakimi and Vidal joining the team. Possibly could you finally overcome Juventus? Only time will tell. You also have Marseille, one of the few French sides that I think could be an interesting side really to use come FM21, who made some very decent signings and have Champions League football for the first time in a long time for next season. Could you possibly overcome PSG? I don't know if it's doable season 1, but you could well be in a chance of doing it. The final side though is Manchester United, who after what has to be described as a joke of a transfer window, and as a Manchester United fan that pains to say because it was awful. I mean, they kind of recovered it slightly. I've seen the likes of Tellez and Cavani, but after the whole Jadon Sancho debacle and just not getting any centre-backs in, it really is a ridiculously poor window from them. So possibly with all of the money that Manchester United have, can you do a better job than them? Only you can kind of decide that once FM21 comes around. Speaking of Manchester United though, guys, I thought it'd be a good idea to let you know what save I will be doing for FM21 once it comes out, and that will be with Manchester United. You'll probably see on the screen right now the thumbnail for the save. I will be using them in the FM21 beta as the very first save of FM21. So hopefully once that is released, we will be able to get off to a good start and maybe win the league or Champions League the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson left the club. So then guys, that just about wraps up this video today, covering interesting sides that you could use for your first save of FM21. Hopefully it's given you some good ideas for who you could play as, and also with the reveal of my first save for FM21 and the videos that will be here on YouTube with the Manchester United save, that is something that you might be looking forward to come November 10th or 11th, whenever the beta is released to us to play. Of course guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, please do chuck a like on it, because as I mentioned earlier in the video, it really does help the channel out. And also do let me know down in the comment section below if this has given you any ideas for who you want to play as, and do let me know who your first save will be with. Of course as well guys, if you are looking forward to seeing any more of my content, whether that be any of the FM20 stuff still going on, the Stones running on up, or any of my experiments, or any of my upcoming FM21 content such as the Manchester United save, then do make sure to subscribe to the channel and keep up to date with all of my content here on LS Plays FM. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you again next time.